Yo guys, what's up? What's good? What's happening? It's your boy Taki. Spells Darkieee. As you put in there. Anyways, I'm loving this new feel. Yeah, I'm loving my environment, the background, everything. If you also like it, yeah, join me in the comment section. Let's vibe together. Tell me what you like about this my new environment and my new background. I think you guys more comfortable here. So God stop, please you guys should leave me a beg. I don't live here again. Anyways, guys, I want to welcome you guys to Go to Life and bring you updates concerning music across the country. Straight up today, we'll begin with for these guys that are really doing good for themselves, and it's just safe to say you can't do all of this without mentioning people like Burna Boy on the news because he's that guy that knows exactly what to do to make sure you guys have him in the conversation. At the point we saw where he actually for the lone song he had for the Wakanda thing, he surpassed about 65 million streams on Spotify. Just recently we saw where his colleague talking about Thames was our efforts with Rihanna on that one with Lift Me Up actually was only for the Oscars, but then did not clinch that one. And it's hard one for both of them. But the fact is that she was nominated was a big win for everybody. So it's a win-win for her and we are so. But if saw Burna Boy's own alone surpassed 5 million streams on Spotify, very big win. For Burna Boy at the time, so Burna Boy, Yay, are one of the best. I think Yay is that song that's taking Burna Boy everywhere. That's like for some persons, it's like Burna Boy's best track ever. So Yay surpassed has sold over 570K units in the UK. Amazing for him. It doesn't get better than this. Moving on, we say Burna Boy Last is now officially certified platinum by the RIAA for over 1 million units sold in the USA. Burna Boy becomes the first African artist with two platinum certified songs in the USA as a lead artist. It's cool because we've seen guys who actually have this one, but then is the only one actually to actually have it as a lead artist. Amazing one for Burna Boy. At the time, moving on from this one, so Burna Boy has now announced. So we actually announced the London Stadium thingy where he's going to be headlining that one. So Burna Boy has announced a headline show at London Stadium for Saturday, 3rd of June, 2023, and then that's part of his Love Damini tour. For Love Damini tour has been like that longest tour ever. And for every location it's been has always been total shut down. This time is for the London Stadium about 66,000 capacity. And for last year, Burna Boy told all of you that this year is strictly stadiums and arena. He's no longer doing closing and everything. So I'm one for him. 66K. And maybe it's like a build up to the Wembley show because we know he has a Wembley show actually. So maybe if he sells this one out, obviously the Wembley is the next one to go. Wembley is actually 90,000 capacity. So think of that one. And no Burna Boy. Really, that's your dog talking about. Yeah, for this one, we saw the point where for the Coachella, yeah, Coachella is actually like another festival where Burna Boy is also going to be performing on the April 14th to 21st. And then for the first day, it's going to be headlined by Bad Bunny. And we have Burna Boy as one of those guys who's going to be performing that one. Big win for them. Bad Bunny headlining one, Blackpink headlining one, and then Frank Ocean headlining one of those ones. But then the news about this was the fact that what's on the street have it that for that show, for that performance, what they're going to do for Coachella, it's going to be paid about $1.5 million. Like, how? When I told us about the amount of money he made, yeah, most people thought it was nine. Maybe they're just saying the truth, yeah, because Dan Runis is saying in 2023, Burna Boy will make his return back to the desert in Coachella. This time, his name is much bigger. A source told me that Burna Boy payday for 2023 Coachella was likely paid 1.5 million for both weekends combined. Bro, that's big, that's big. And then a very big one to Burna Boy and a very big win to him and his team on that one. Moving on from Burna Boy, we saw where Steve Harvey actually came out to talk about African and talk about the blacks. And then he spoke about how there's heritage from black and how black actually rule like a whole lot of stuff happening in the world. And then he actually said at the point, most persons said Burna Boy stole from the white guys. He's saying no, he didn't steal from anybody. As a matter of fact, the white guy stole from Burna Boy because Burna Boy was like he actually Burna Boy is friends with the black guy, he's friends with boy from this race, saying we have something to offer, and then Burna Boy was the trade was the benchmark, was the person he could use as a frontier for all of that. Big win for him because I've used any other person, but then he chose to use Burna Boy, and it shows that every part of this world, everybody's talking about Afrobeat. If it's not Thames, it's Whiskey. If it's not Whiskey, it's David. If it's not Davido, it's Oxlade. If not Oxlade, it's Burna Boy. Burna Boy is that guy everybody is talking about at the time. Moving on from Burna Boy, we have Oxlade. You want to call him Oxlade, but I love to call him Oxlade. We saw at the point where for Oxlade, where we saw where he actually him and Miracle came through with that one they call Bad Boy and Mason for both of them. The song came through 100%. Bad Boy is that song you guys want to listen to. It came out last year and doing good for himself. Malcolm came 100%. Oxlade too came 100% on that. So moving on, we saw at the point we saw Oxlade as the sex scandal thingy, and then matter went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, the court actually asked Oxlade to pay the lady a sum of 5 million naira as damages, and after this rulings, both of them have been quiet. Nobody has said anything about that one. So obviously they've settled outside all of that, and that is a big good one for him because now he can face his career squarely. Moving on, we saw at the point where his song, the biggest jam he's had so far, closer amassed about 161 million streams Spotify. Very big one for Oxlade. It doesn't come easily. For Oxlade last year, yeah, one of those artists who were underrated because his songs did good numbers, got plaques and everything. So he's that guy who's deserving of everything that comes his way this year. Moving on from this one, we saw where he actually came out previewing a new song where he actually said first Oxley song for the year. So he came out doing all of that, and for some fans actually saw all of this, we're so happy to actually watch this. And then the question is, Oxley, when will you drop this one so that we see it? Moving on from this one, we saw at the point where for this is like very funny because Chris Brown is that guy that I think at this point, yeah, you won't be out of place if Chris Brown is Afrobeat because he's that guy he has worked with Davido, worked with Whiskey, worked with a lot of persons, Lil J, and then we saw him vibing to Oxlade's song with energy and vibe, and the energy was there. He was singing, he was jumping, he was dancing. Then only had the caption saying "real recognizes real," and then we saw some comments. Olumide is saying Ox and Chris go well. Someone is saying we need that collabo, bro. Tap it. Most of the person just want to see. And then thinking about it, Oxlade and Chris Brown coming through with Colossal remix, guys. What's your thought? How do you think that will sound? Amazing. We all can't wait to see how that one will pan out. Yeah, we saw Oxlade and Chike in the studio, creating magic. When you see artists in the studio, obviously they're not acting movies, they're actually singing. So the question is, how will this one? Chike is that guy that actually have an amazing sound, doing good for himself. And Oxley is another person who is an amazing artist, has good vocals. So him and Chike coming through with this one is just a banger. So the question is, when would you guys give us what you guys have cooked in the kitchen? And on that one, moving on, we saw Crayon. Crayon is the main guy who, at some point, yeah, a lot of people actually came out for Crayon saying it's just about the Twitter guy where he's just tweeting, I did this, I did that, and they're like, "What will you give us a jam? Give us song." And the last song he did that took us by storm was when he did Laba Laba, an amazing one with very nice efforts, amazing song jam that was everywhere at the time. Jola Ba Laba, it was that song everybody wanted to sing at the time. But then with most part dance, so people were saying, Crayon, give us a new jam. Most likely listen to all of that. And then he actually had this new one, it came out. Now he actually had like on the stage where he did a video to the song. And then if you guys remember Damiduro when they had that Damiduro video where it was in the club and then someone's going to pay for a drink and they don't got so in the video, yeah, he got angry, took a drink, poured it away and everything. Crayon recreated all of that. We saw where him and his guys were in the club and then the bad guy came to ask him and said, his guy said, "Oh, we pay for all of this drink." And then we saw the whole team saying, and then Crayon took the drink, poured it on the ground and all of that, which actually launched him to the song. Amazing snippet, amazing thoughts to that video. It's actually make because it's actually recreating the video stuff and then I'm sure he actually thought about doing that before he finally did all of that. Moving on, with some person saying Crayon new creates the video intro on Damiduro in his forthcoming single titled The One. Question is, we all can't wait to see how this one will look when it drops. Moving on, we see there was actually when he was pouring the drink and all of that. And then towards before the song even launched, so where he got angry and then he bought like bunch of money and slammed on the guy's chest. The same thing they did this time, took money and took on the chest and yeah. So amazing one for both of them, and we hope the song is as actually nice as the video, and can't wait to see when that will drop. So okay, we're coming out to say I'm a living testimony of God. I'm I'm the first star in my family, both from my mom and my dad's generation. Before me, nobody has been this successful in my family. I am the first millionaire in my family. God raised me to break that generation because I am the one. Amazing one for me. Not coming from the kind of family it's coming from, it really makes sense because now that's a big statement saying you're the first one in your family, both from dad's and mom's side. Really, God has to get all the glory on that one. And then he's saying it's a living testimony of God. Obviously, that is a proof that yes, God really does amazing stuff. Okay, we are so happy for you for doing all of that, and then you're doing good for yourself. So big win for Afrobeat, big win for you, big win for the Maven dynasty, and we can't wait to see how far you will go. Obviously, we know Your career is amazing, and you have good songs to show forth for that. So, guys, we are behind you on that one. And then moving on from Crayon, we have Timaya, and this one. Timaya is that guy that I think he just does song for player this time because nothing really, no effort. He just there thinks of a song, put it out, and then boom, it's everywhere, and he goes back to resting after like a while, drop it again, boom, go back to resting, and it has been working for him ever since he actually relegated himself to that point. So where for last year he dropped one of the sweetest jam for the year. Amazingly, Timaya was that guy actually as a part of the year where he dropped one of the amazing jam. Every part of this world, everybody in the country actually vibes with that song. It was used for political reasons, for every other reason that he could use sing that song for. It was an amazing one where he actually sang as he did sweet us. He did paint them in one of those leagues. It was one league that they could use it for to spite somebody and then but amazing, yeah. It was one song that Nigerians really loved at the time it dropped. And they did the video to that. TJ Omori came through with that video, directed the video, an amazing one they created at the time they did all of that. Moving on from this one, we saw where somebody actually came out to say, according to him, and he said that is for him. He said marriage is not always the end point of a relationship. They actually asked him if he was married. He said no, he's not married. And then went for that saying marriage is not the end point of relationship. He has kids, but it doesn't have to lead to marriage. So Timaya is saying if you're dating somebody it doesn't have to end marriage, yeah. So you could just do what you want to do and part ways. And marriage is just that where people want to put themselves according to him and he's saying it does not always have to end in marriage. Timaya actually said that. If you agree with him, let me know in the comment section. If you feel like no, you have said caps, let me see what you think about that in the comment section. Anyways, guys, we've come to the end of Ghost Studio. I'll catch you guys in the very next one. Stay safe, guys, and always remember, be careful.